and welcome to your next PB&J card class. Today I'll be using some new penny black stamps and also Spellbinder's Nestability dies to create a set of 3 cards. Here's a look at the penny black stamps we're using, Wishes and Floral thread. And here's the trio of cards we'll be creating in class today. These cards feature using Spellbinder's Nestability dies to create mini frames to add to your card. To begin, I'm taking penny black floral thread and I'm inking that with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. There's a lot of detail to this stamp, so I want to make sure I've completely covered it with ink. Now I'm going to take my cardstock and lay that directly over the stamp, piece of scratch paper, hold with one hand and rub with the other. And the scratch paper just helps protect my fingers from getting that black ink on them. So once I'm sure that I've applied pressure to all areas, I'll lift and I've stamped my background. Now this technique would work great with any penny black background stamps. Now I'm taking Spellbinder's Nestability dies reverse wonky rectangles. I'm taking the largest of those dies and laying it ridge side down onto my cardstock, and I'm just using a piece of tape here that's removable to hold that. Now I'm taking a smaller one of those dies and centering that inside the larger die. And then I'll tape that down and I'll run this through my die cutting machine. Once I've done that, this is what you will have. We'll have cut the center piece and cut the larger piece. And now we've created a frame. And there's lots of fun ways to use these on your cards. I'm going to color my frame using a mixture of Faber-Castell Stampers Big Brush markers and also Pitt Artist pens, so you can see the colors I'm using. And because this stamp has so much detail, all that's necessary is just to color those in. I'm not doing any complicated shading, I'm just coloring it in. And I use the same colors on all 3 cards, just changed up where the placement of those colors was. Now one little thing I wanted to show you here is this is the gray Pitt Artist pen, and I love to use this on any areas I would like to remain white. It just gives it a nice finished look. So I just colored over those lines in the background. Now here's the assembly for all 3 cards. I've taken a piece of penny black mix and match cardstock, I've scored it at the top, and I'm applying my adhesive above the scored line. Now I'm going to lay my frame right on top, lining those up. And now you can see you have a shaped card that opens with a frame or a window in the middle. Now this is just a piece of white cardstock that I trimmed in the shape of a little banner. And I'm applying this with pop dots right over that frame. So a pop dot on the top and one on the bottom. And you can see once that's on there, I'm just playing with it here to make sure that it's straight. And now I'm ready to add some butterflies. These were die cut with Spellbinder's die, and also the smaller ones were punched with the Martha Stewart punch. And I'm just applying a dot of glossy accents. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer to glue those down on top of that banner. And you can see those lift right open with that frame on the front. Now you can also use these frames in other ways. So I'm going to show the assembly of all 3 cards today. So here I've scored that other piece of die cut paper along the top, this time turning this in a horizontal fashion. And I'm going to lay my frame right on top. Then again, I've cut a long strip into the shape of a banner. I also stamped this using penny black Wishes. It's a clear set, and I love the size of those cute little sentiments on that set. And I'm laying that down. There's pop dots on each end. And then again, I'm going to add some butterflies. And I love how these sort of float then over that window. Now in this butterfly, I used a pop dot, and I'm going to put it up in the corner so that it opens with the card like so. And you can see that window in the back. Now in this final card, I'm using the frame in a little bit different way. So again, this is a piece of mix and match cardstock, but I have not scored the yellow piece. I've applied pop dots to the back of the frame, and I'll line that up over the piece of yellow cardstock. So I'm just making sure that that's completely straight. And that gives it some nice dimension on the front of the card. Now I've used that same reverse wonky rectangles and die cut one of the smallest pieces, and I'm going to put that on pop dots in the center. So that's at the same height as the frame, but the yellow piece recedes in the background. Now this butterfly I want floating over that yellow area. So I'm just applying glue to the wings where they will be touching the frame, and the rest of it sort of floats over that sentiment piece and that part where the yellow recedes into the background. Now in this butterfly, it's going to be sitting on top of that yellow piece, so I put a pop dot so it's at the same height as the piece that has the sentiment. Now this is the front of the card, so I've taken another piece of white cardstock, scored it at the top. I'm applying my adhesive along the top, only above that scored line, and then I'm laying that front of the card onto that piece. And then you can see that has a nice shape and opens up to the inside. Here's another look at all three cards. For details and more information, visit the Penny Black website at www.pennyblackink.com. Thanks so much for watching, and here's a list of all the supplies used to create these three cards. See you next week!